QBTS stock, which is a quantum computing company that we've been covering here on the channel for the past 5 or 6 months, is up 25% today after a huge move and a couple recent announcements that we want to pay attention to. One of the reasons why we're looking at QBTS is because it's on our quantum AI watch list, and it's still leading the way, even though you got some nice surgences on some of these companies in the 5 to 20% range. And Rigetti stock, we traded this morning, and we're still up 2% on that position, and not even close to that of the gains here with QBTS. So why it's got our attention again is we recently went to the conference that we got to meet a lot of the executives, including the CEO of QBTS D-Wave. And we also got a chance to really dive into some of the technology and even do some networking with some fellow investors. So as we start to see this surge take place, a couple things to note. It recently broke out above this previous resistance and this rising resistance and established some new levels. So now that it's broken up, it's very much in uncharted territory, right? So we started covering it back here in early November, around $1 a share. It got up to 11. It sold down. It got back up to around $11 here, and then sold back down, and now we can see it's up to this, really peaked out there at, what is that, about $17 a share at one point today. So we're seeing this surge take place. It broke out. It's into uncharted territory. It's really just back where it was near their IPO, it appears to be. So as we start to see the company rise to this $16, $18 range, there's really no analysis, right? All I can say is that the RSI and the MACD look very overextended. It's nothing but green candlesticks as of lately, except there has been a slight pullback here at around 1750 intraday, right? So 9:30 a.m. it shot up here to about 1755, sold back down, and now it has this hyper bullish trend here that is starting to develop. Now there is a support here, right here, about 1637. So if it holds this level, that could be more bullish indication. Otherwise, if it's going to continue in the direction it's going here, it would look something like this. Okay, so something like this and like that. Yep, something like this. So really, if we're looking at this recent trend, we're looking at a potential here for it to get back into this, $17 or really $18 range if we're really bullish, and that looks slightly weird. All right, there we go. This new hyperbull trend, it's got this previous resistance at about $16.20, and if it holds that level, then we're in a bullish indication for the near term. On the near term, it did just cross below some of the indicators, maybe getting a little rejected at that 1750 price point. 26% in the day is quite the surge, so it just got rejected. It's down about 6% from the peak of that $17.50 range. But again, if we just kind of zoom out, it's pretty clear to see that they are very much on the overbought side at the moment, according to the indicators. But according to investors, there's been times where they were right here on the overbought side, and they continued to roar right here. They were really overbought right before this big surge, and they continue to roar. So we're looking at some of the indicators. Really, when it comes down to the indicators, I could look at the news. I could look at the financials. One thing to note really quickly, without getting into extreme depth, is their financials came in better revenue this last quarter, about 15 million, which leads to quantum computing companies. I believe maybe if we go IonQ is at 7 million a quarter, 7 to 11 million a quarter, and then Rigetti is about like 1 or 2 million a quarter, and then QBTS, not that they've done this quarterly, in fact they've averaged around 2 to 3 million a quarter, but then they had this $15 million quarter recently, which really surged the stock, and we start to see them beat revenue and earnings per share, and a large portion of that revenue most likely being attributed to their Jülich D-Wave system that they just sold to Germany. So is a German company. So they came in better financials, and then we looked at their news. They came out with an article today general availability of Advantage 2 quantum computer, its most advanced performance system. So when it comes to this, they're allowing this quantum computer to now be a quantum computer for 6th generation quantum computers. So they're introducing a new quantum computer, a system so powerful that can solve hard problems outside the reach of the world's largest exascale GPU-based classical supercomputers. According to D-Wave, this is an engineering marvel. Customers can now access Advantage 2 system via D-Wave Leap, so through the cloud. So those are part of the reasons why we saw it push up today. Now, with investor sentiment building, you do have a large overextension in my eyes. I would imagine that seeing pullbacks down to the levels here would make sense. But again, that's just the healthy way to approach it. If we're going to see a hyper bull trend continue, again, it has that $16 support. But other than that, yeah, the next support would be somewhere around $14 if it sells back down in a hyper bull trend. Otherwise, we're seeing the next sell down to $11, and that would be, very conservative and not assuming that they're going to hyper bull continue up. And this huge surgence as of recently is, in uncharted territory. So all we can really say is that the previous resistance would be the next support, most likely somewhere in this $14, $15 range. I think that would be a healthy pullback, but we'll just have to watch it and see how it reacts. Guys, we traded quantum companies, and also today we traded Tesla as well as an AI company. We even traded Rigetti stock. If you guys ever want to see the short term and daily live trading, I do trade each day at market open. It's the second link in the description for StockMate. And we also have our virtual stock trading system in the first link down below. Thank you so much for watching. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.